Hello and welcome to MouseKast, the podcast where the mind meets the magic. We are so thrilled to have you here joining us again tonight on MouseKast. This is episode number 59. Guys, can you believe it? We're already at episode 59. And tonight, okay, we're going to go there tonight. We hope you're going to go there with us. We're talking about our guilty pleasures. You know, we all have them. You know, you have them. You do. Yeah, you too. And yeah, you listening over here. Yeah, you've got one as well. So we're all going to be talking tonight about our guilty pleasures. But first, let's meet our cast tonight. Meaghan, welcome to MouseKast.
Hey, Chuck. Glad to be here. Can't wait to talk about these not so popular ideas.
Well, you know, that's the thing of a guilty pleasure. So, you know, we'll see how many you all go, oh, yeah, I do that too. Matt's with us. Hey, Matt.
How's it going tonight, everybody?
Doing very well. Mike is with us tonight. Mike, how's it going? Mike, you're muted.
All right. I'm doing all right. Happy to do this episode. It sounds like a lot of fun.
It's going to be a great time. Annemarie is with us. Hey, Annemarie.
Hey, Chuck. The Catholic in me is coming out. I feel like I'm in the confessional tonight.
That's right. You know, we're all gonna feel like we're airing our dirty little secrets here tonight. Priscilla, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited about tonight.
Very good. And Natalie is with us. Hey, Natalie.
Hi there, Chuck. I'm excited to be back.
It's going to be a great time. And of course, our guilty pleasure here at MouseKast is no one else but, of course, the great Hawk, who is with us here. Hawk, how are you doing?
What's going on, everybody? Super excited about tonight. And we're going to dive in and kind of explore some of those guilty pleasures we all possess. And they're all over the place. So I'm really looking forward to the thought processes that everybody had. And we may just kind of continue off some of these offshoots and dive a little deeper into some of these thoughts as we present them too. So this is going to be a very conversation-based episode, just touching on things. But I mean, first and foremost, we all kind of share a guilty pleasure, and that's our love and passion for Disney and theme parks, because a lot of people would say we're part of a cult. I mean, we are a bit of a, obsessed fan base. And what's kind of interesting is, as an obsessed fan base about something, what do we consider to be the guilty pleasure that so many other people already think we're crazy for going back to Disney again and again and again and maybe again and then maybe again, and going to those theme parks every day whenever we get the opportunity to is at the top of all our life lists. We want to travel. We want to see these places. We want to go back and experience things. And there's a repetitive nature to it. But why? And what do we find to really be the guilty pleasure that we really, truly enjoy? And it can be nostalgic. It may be food related. It may be a resort you love. It could be anything. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, and to jump off, we really kind of came up with this idea as we jumped off from just last week's episode. So if you were listening on what inspires us to go to Walt Disney World, for many of us, frankly, it's going to be some of these guilty pleasures, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. And as many of you know, we were supposed to have a special guest on. They will be rescheduling with us. They had some sudden conflicts come up, and we're going to be rescheduling that show as well. So just wanted to kind of explain why we are diving into guilty pleasures tonight instead of the promised interview we were going to do. But there was some schedule shifting we had to do, and we're going to accommodate wherever we can. Starting things off. So I'm going to go around the horn from my visual. So I'm going to start with Meaghan. And Meaghan, what would you say is your biggest? I want to start with the biggest ones because I don't know how much time we're going to have. But what is your biggest guilty pleasure in relation to theme parks or vacationing here in this area?
Well, I'm staring right at it with Chuck in particular, although Hawk, you've got one on for Universal. My closet would be really empty if I stopped going to Disney, because any t-shirt that I own, probably 97% of them have some sort of Disney on them. And I didn't even realize I was doing it until I started looking for something that didn't have something to do with Mickey Mouse, and realized, maybe I need to go like somewhere not Disney and buy some more regular adult clothes. So my guilty pleasure apparently is buying t-shirts either for my trips or while I'm on my trips.
Okay, excellent. Matt,
Meaghan, what did you go in my closet or something and check? Because I'm like the right there. If it's not Disney or some sort of travel, what? Yeah, I'm sad. I kind of share that one.
Exactly.
So Chuck, we're definitely aware, but the only key difference is Meaghan makes the clothes look good. So no, I'm just.
Oh, there's no argument there.
I'm just playing, Chuck. Matt. So one thing to keep in mind tonight, too, guys, because of the last minute change with our guest, this was a bit of a last minute plan. So we are kind of flying by the seat of our pants this evening a little bit. And Matt, you would initially said you were maybe having a hard time, but it seems you came up with some good ones. Is that accurate to say you've got a couple good ones ready to go?
I got a few tricks up my sleeve with this one. So I'm gonna say my my ultimate is walking into Food and Wine Festival and looking for Spam hash. My wife thinks I'm crazy. I know Spam is not really a delicacy here in the main part of the United States, but over in Hawaii, I know it's in a lot of dishes. And I try to convince my wife to at least take a bite, and I have been unsuccessful, but I still go back for it every time I can. I did not see it. I don't know if they have it during the Flowering Garden. I don't believe
The last
so.
time I had
disappointed.
Spam hash, they did. Yes, they had it at Flower and
They
Garden.
did. I was
They
there.
did,
This
and
spring,
I'm
and I
right
didn't
with you.
see
I'm
it.
in line for that Spam hash because it is absolutely great.
Yeah, whatever they do to it, it's fantastic. And the looks I get, I'm just like, I'm telling you, just take a bite, and all I get is nose.
That's more for you, Matt. Like
No doubt.
I mean, Matt, like, don't look a gift horse in the mouth here. Like, I'm just saying, if you get to keep it to yourself, that's a win-win-win. I'm down for that as well. So
I've never had it, but I'll add it to my list.
You need to add it to your list right now. I'm telling you what, everybody sits there and thinks, I mean, you talk about guilty pleasure. Spam, really guilty pleasure. It's actually so good. They call it, another great place, by the way, to get Spam, they call it spiced ham. It's actually just Spam, is over at the Kona Cafe. So you can get a slab of Spam over at the Kona Cafe, and it's every bit as good as over the Spam hash at Flower and Garden and Food and Wine.
I just want to give a shout out to Spam because they're a Minnesota company, and I'm originally from Minnesota, so go Minnesota.
all right, you Minnesotan. What do you got for your first major guilty pleasure?
Disney pleasure, or we're just doing theme parks?
You can do any guilty pleasure related to either or.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with one that I don't think anybody has. It's watching the movie Heavyweights. A lot of people forget that that's a Disney movie, but it's actually a very funny movie. Ben Stiller is hilarious in it. He's like the perfect guy to play. I cannot, like I said, it's a guilty pleasure, so I don't watch it a lot. But
I love that movie. Tony, Tony.
Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best. I used to be a really big kid, so that movie does kind of hit home for me. I never went to fat camp or anything like they do, but like if I told a lot of people, oh, one of my favorite Disney movies is Heavyweights, they would give me a crazy look like Hawk just did. Like, what the hell are you talking about? But it is one of my guilty pleasure movies. Like I said, it's hard to find people like Priscilla and me who actually are like, yeah, that movie's legit. So that would probably be my number one.
Okay. All right. So the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. Chuck.
Wait a minute. The man, the myth, and the legend is here. When did he join this show? Oh, you're talking about me. Oh,
Yeah,
no. I'm no,
I thought
I'm
he
no
already
myth.
went.
You
Yeah, I
always
was
get
gonna
to
say, he's
so
already went. It was
eloquently
awesome.
name us all as the various
There we
titles
go.
and tidbits, but tonight we get to pay homage to the great one,
Okay, here we go.
Norman, our fearless leader.
He's setting me up on this one.
No,
You know, it's funny because
the lawyers handed me the script. They told
oh,
me-
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was.
That's
We're
that's
legally
only
He's
obligated.
not following it. You know he's got that script, but
No,
he
he's-
hasn't
well,
looked at it.
no. The only reason that the lawyers handed them script is because they want to amp up the bill this time.
What
We know what's going on.
Well, it could be, but what
Yeah,
is
it
your
could be.
guilty pleasure other than
know, it's-
paying our legal fees?
Yeah, really. I'm struggling with this because I got two that I have to choose from here. They're kind of like which one is which, but I'm going to go ahead and I guess. Okay, I'm gonna go for the one that really is probably my most guilty of guilty pleasures, and it's because it's really, in some respects, it's not a guilty pleasure. It's gone way beyond a guilty pleasure. It's more like an obsession, and that is hunting for hidden Mickeys. I will see hidden Mickeys literally everywhere. Not just the parks. We're not talking about the park. I mean, I'm going down to the grocery store and I'm like, oh, hey, there's a hidden Mickey over there. I mean, it's bad, but I love hidden Mickey hunting, and especially when we're in the parks, looking for hidden Mickeys. And folks, there are thousands of hidden Mickeys from the various lands into attractions, restaurants, resorts, cruise line, international. There are actually some they're really fun, that they're hidden Mickeys that are repeated, that you will find the same hidden Mickey in multiple parks. And I specifically think of one particular hidden Mickey in the various iterations of Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin / Astro Blasters that are all throughout the parks. And it's the Polos Prime hidden Mickey that is really wonderful. It's a side profile hidden Mickey, and so I'm that's always kind of one of my favorites. But yeah, I'm obsessed with looking and hunting for hidden Mickeys.
So Chuck, back whenever this obsession started, did you ever buy one of the books that, I don't know if they still have them or if they don't?
Okay, so Dr. Steve Barrett. Dr. Steve Barrett is a great guy. I've met him once, and he is kind of he's Dr. Disney when it comes to the hidden Mickeys. He is the man. He is the king. If it ever comes to MouseKast, guys, you are the first to hear this, outside of anybody locally that I have told. But I've actually been in development of a hidden Mickey's book now for close to 10 years. That is a hidden Mickey's photography book that is very close to being published if, speaking of the lawyers, we can ever get some of the legal issues out of the way. So I actually have a physical production. I mean, when I said it was an obsession, I wasn't kidding. I actually have, it's close to a 200-page book, photography style book, that is almost ready to go. It has to be updated a little bit because, as we all know, hidden Mickeys come and hidden Mickeys go. And so there is a section in the book that's called Lost Hidden Mickeys, that are some of them that were wonderful hidden Mickeys that we have sadly lost. I specifically think of one that was in Liberty Square, just outside the Haunted Mansion. It was a great hidden Mickey there that we lost during a renovation of the Haunted Mansion area. So no, this is way back, and yes, I have their books, but I've done my own. And so one of these days, maybe it'll find its way to a bookshelf near you.
So Mr. Chuck, with all your vast knowledge and all the experience you've had searching for hidden Mickeys throughout these years of obsession and all the sources you've found, what is the most unique hidden Mickey that you could tell a listener is worthy to go for? Not something that's like so hard. I want the everyday person to be able to find that hidden Mickey and recognize it, because some are very complex.
They are. And it's funny. So I go back actually to Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin / Astro Blasters. It's the one I was referring to, because this is a hidden Mickey that actually, in Walt Disney World, depending on which queue line you take, there you can find this particular hidden Mickey 3 times in the attraction. The exact same hidden Mickey is found 3 times in the attraction, and then it is also repeated in Disneyland. I have personally seen it in Disneyland. I've personally seen it in Disneyland Paris. I've personally seen it in Tokyo Disneyland. So it's a hidden Mickey that you just, because that type of attraction is repeated very frequently, you find it in a number of different places. The other hidden Mickey that I think might have been the one that kind of started it all is a great hidden Mickey that is found in the in the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse. And it is on kind of the building. And again, it's a side profile hidden Mickey, not a 3 circle, but a side profile one in the moss. And it's one of those that's so easy that you just turn and go, okay, whatever. As soon as you point it out, you're going, oh, well, I didn't even see that. It's right in front of you. Literally, it's right under your nose, and you wouldn't even recognize it until you kind of let your eyes change and you see things through a different way. And guess what? Boom, there it is. And once you start looking, you will start to see hidden Mickeys all over the place. Imagineers are awesome at creating hidden Mickeys.
So my 2 favorite are one of the largest and one of the smallest at Disney. And one of the largest is Expedition Everest.
Yes.
If you look down at it from satellite, you can see that it's a giant hidden Mickey, which is very, very cool to me. And then my other favorite, maybe soon disappearing, but it is in Launch Bay, and you have to go into the model of the starship. And in the very front, there's a little black window. But if you turn your flash on your camera and you try to take a picture of it, there is a sticker, a Star Wars sticker of Mickey Mouse piloting in that window. And it is so minutely small. A cast member showed it to me. If it's a 1/4 of an inch around the sticker, I'd be shocked.
That's pretty cool. I haven't seen that one. I have to go hunt that one out. See, there you go, folks. Another one to hunt for.
Yeah, I will. If you're in the parks, Chuck, I will go meet you and I will show you that one, because that's one
It's a date.
And you touch on something that's really cool, because not only is your guilty pleasure searching those out and finding them, but it becomes a guilty pleasure sharing them. It becomes a guilty pleasure to enjoy what that does for other people as well, being able to pass on that little tidbit. That's one of the things I love about some of our guilty pleasures is, Mike now will have people watching heavyweights. Some will agree, some will not. But how we share things, and especially those guilty pleasures, make a difference for others. And that's a cool aspect of word of mouth is one of the best ways to get news to spread. And I think it's phenomenal that we're able to do this in this realm and share just really neat little tidbits about the theme parks or our lives or our passions. And other people can either latch on or say what most say. Y'all are crazy. Either way, it's fine. But Annemarie, what do you got? What's your number one?
Okay. My number one, and I did it today, is I love buying and eating anything Mickey Mouse ice cream. And I bought out Sprouts today because I found a new brand that has the Mickey Mouse bar that's actually healthy. And it's a guilty pleasure. And as I said, the Catholic in me is coming out, because when I'm at the parks, I buy the snacks with the boys, but I also enjoy when they walk off so I can go get another one without any judgment. And especially, it's the Mickey Mouse bars mostly, but also at Alani, it's the snow cones, the Mickey Mouse shaped snow cones, which makes the difference. It tastes different. And it's the lychee syrup, because you can't get the lychee syrup pretty much I can't where I am, but Mickey Mouse. And if I see it in the grocery store when I walk by, and I always go by the frozen section, and I'm a pretty healthy eater, but I have to buy all the Mickey Mouse bars. And I don't care if there's a sign like the eggs tissue, I'm buying them all, and you're going to have to tell me no at the checkout. About 6 boxes. Shh, don't tell my husband. About 6 boxes of Mickey Mouse ice cream bars today at Sprouts, and they're in my freezer in the garage.
All right, so we're all going over to your house for a Mickey Mouse bar party after this recording.
They're only
Exactly.
100 calories each.
And Annemarie, your husband is going to be very excited that they're not eggs because they were cheaper. So
there were no eggs. There were no eggs, but there were boxes of the Mickey Mouse. This is a new brand because Sprouts doesn't sell. I forget the brand that you can get at Target and Market Street and Acme and stuff, but this is Good Pop, and it's only 100 calories each. So the good news is my big love will hopefully not mean a big Annemarie. But that is my guilty pleasure. And when my kids were little, those little leeches used to eat my Mickey Mouse bar. So I used to, send them off with dad, or when grandparents were with us, to go get a treat, and I would go get an extra one.
This is a plug for solo trips. We've talked a lot in past episodes about taking the solo trip.
Well, and you can have a solo trip within
snacks.
a family trip, which is what I do a lot. Like I bring the family because the guilt is there, but then you send them off to go do things like, here's the credit card, go get those that merch you wanted, because my middle son loves the merch. But then that's when you have the solo trip within the family trip.
I just like the fact that Annemarie is now on the record that she called her kids leeches. So I mean,
they are. When it comes to food, I have 3 boys. They're leeches.
Mark this episode
take the food
and
out of
send
my
it to
hands.
her
They
children.
eat off my plate.
you heard it here on MouseKast, episode 59. Annemarie's kids are leeches.
Priscilla, what do you have? What's your number one guilty pleasure related to theme parks? Disney, Universal, whatever.
So for Disney, what I noticed, because I haven't been back to Universal in a couple of years, so usually my guilty pleasure with Universal is I try to find someplace new that we haven't eaten yet. That's usually what we tend to do. It's not really a guilty pleasure. It's just like a not even habit, but it's just something to change things up. With Disney, what I've noticed, because we've been going there more over the last couple of years, I break out the old movies, like the older, with Disney Plus and stuff like that, or anything that I have digitally. I'll access the older, like the 80s and 90s movies, not necessarily animated, but like I'll watch The Mighty Ducks. I'll watch Newsies, which is one of my all-time favorites. So I will watch that a couple of times in preparation for the trip. Like when my kids were little, their guilty pleasure was we had one of those really big storybooks with like, shortened versions of like all the fairy tales and stuff. So we would read a story every night in preparation for the trip. So we start like 30 days before and every night counting down, instead of making like countdown calendars or anything like that. That's what we used to do. But now that my kids are older, we don't really do that. And when I'm in my shop, I'll turn, the TV on and I'll just have Disney Plus in the background and I'll run a movie every night leading up to the trip. So but Newsies is like my guilty pleasure. I watch it. I can watch it. I probably could recite it line by line. I
can't recite it, but I'm with you. I love Newsies.
It's one of my favorites.
I actually saw a local production of that a year or two ago. And once I found out it was produced by Disney, I'm just like, well, it's like I said at Disney, like I just didn't like see coming. And it was fantastic. Just like local actors and actresses, just, going through college and stuff like that. And it was just like, this is fantastic. And like I said, I did some research behind it.
Theaters.
Exactly. So once I found out Disney had a hand in it, I'm just like, this is great. It's something different, like beyond the movies and stuff like that. So
it's cool, like the Broadway version and the off-Broadway version. So when they had it on Broadway, it's not true to the actual film, but it is pretty much spot on. But definitely watch the original. If you haven't seen the original film, watch it, because if you've ever seen High School Musical or High School Musical 2 or 3, there's a bunch of other movies, but Kenny Ortega actually did the choreography for for Newsies as well. And you can definitely tell it has his signature in there. And you'll see like a young Christian Bale in there too, which was really cool. It was like the coolest part of the whole movie, even though he refuses to acknowledge that he was in that movie now. But I don't know. For me, I could talk about it. I could watch it. I could rewatch it. That movie is over 30 plus years old now. I was in high school when that movie came out, and I still love it just as much today as I did when I first saw it.
Yeah, Chuck and I were in our 40s back then, but you know.
Yeah, we were, but that's okay. And I'll also throw in a plug, by the way, we're talking about support your local theater, that, you've got the Broadway, off-Broadway versions, but also, Newsies and, the various Pick Your Musical Junior. A lot of high schools do a bunch of different Disney plays and musicals. Please go support your high school students in their performances as well.
We have an amazing theater that's very historic, located in the town I live in here in Florida, and the Athens Theater. And it is an amazing performance venue. One of the coolest I've ever seen at the local level. And we got to see Beauty and the Beast here last fall. And they did, and like when I tell you, I went in with very low expectations, and they blew it out of the water. It was amazing. They did a phenomenal job. So fun to see. They're currently doing Cinderella here. So we may try to get over and see that. They've done so many great shows, and local theater is definitely something that is fading in a lot of places because it doesn't garnish enough support. And kids are locked into screens and movies and telephones and iPads. And going to see local theater is definitely something that brings kids back to understanding the talent and work that goes back into something, and getting them involved is even more important. So just a side note on that. Natalie, guilty pleasure number one. What is your biggest guilty pleasure?
Okay, so two of them were really easy to come up with. One is highly embarrassing. The other one is, if you know me, it makes total sense. But my number one guilty pleasure is I tend to visit Disney in my birthday month. I'm extremely selfish, and I like to go during my birthday month, and I like to reap all the benefits of it being very close to my birthday. But at the same time, it's a great month because there's so much that actually goes on in that month, which is November. So you've just started Christmas. They're usually taping all the Christmas specials and the Christmas party, and the Christmas parties are kicking off. The end of Food and Wine is happening. So there's a lot going on. So
I got to ask you, do you wear the pin for your birthday for the entire
every
stay?
single day?
Yeah, okay.
Every day.
Actually, I've seen Natalie in the park. She's one that she puts LED lights around it, and it kind of flashes and strobes.
Yeah.
It says, look at me, it's my birthday," kind of thing like that.
She has and the ears.
I was going to say, I saw the button. I'd wear
gamut.
a t-shirt that was flashing with LED that it's my birthday.
I have a birthday Disney princess t-shirt that I have that's it's red, it's sparkly, it's out there, and I have worn it several times. I reap the benefit of going during my birthday month, and I have talked my family into going several times. And then I get to pick where we get to have a breakfast and celebrate my birthday.
You'll have to give me all your tips and tricks because I can't convince my family to go. Because November, my birthday is in November. My birthday is so much closer to Thanksgiving, so I can't justify going down there because it's so expensive.
Well, I think according to what Natalie says, her birthday is November, not like November pick a day. It's literally 1 to 30. It's all of them. It's the whole month.
It is November. And then Christmas is the following month.
It's November 1st until the 30th. There's no wiggle room. There's nothing wrong with it.
Especially like you said, if your birthday's around Thanksgiving, which mine's the 30th, the last day of the month. So the very next day is December. That doesn't count. I have to go before my actual birthday, but I have been down there on my physical birthday My 35th, I spent the whole day.
So Natalie essentially spends 29 days of pre-gaming for her birthday.
Exactly.
The best way to do it.
Here, guys, she is a consummate professional.
Yeah,
And-
speak
I'm
of,
a
talk about a
November birthday
pre-show.
too. Is
Yeah.
Priscilla? Are you November as well?
I am on the 25th, November 25th.
I'm the 12th. It looks like we've got almost 50% here. We need to do a mouse
Just
cast.
have to have a
Although,
trip,
Natalie,
a birthday
are we allowed
trip.
to, though? Would we be
I'm so
crashing
down
your?
for that. As an annual pass holder, I'm so down for that.
Would we be crashing on Natalie's celebration though? Can we also
No.
wear the birthday pins?
So you'd all
Yeah,
wear
I would-
you could all wear your pins for the whole month and just, you know, it
They'll
would
all
be
get the same
crazy.
sparkly shirt, just in different colors.
I'm the only
And my-
woman not born in November on this show, and I'm jealous because my birthday.
Oh no,
month is
you're not the only
August.
one.
And no, the only woman. The only woman. Unless
I
unless y'all
have
are-
my shirt still from going back to Meaghan saying her clothes. I still have my shirt that says happy birthday, Annemarie, and it's got Mickey and Minnie. And then on the back, 11, 12, 13, because I was in Magic Kingdom on 11, 12, 13 on my birthday. So
There you go.
kind of
Chuck
tying
and
back
I
into
still
both
have our
those.
birthday loincloths, but we won't get into that.
Yeah, we do our birthday togas because we were actually in Rome, but that's another story.
Lawyers, somebody call the lawyers. Cut this off. Can't. We're very far off track.
Okay,
Hawk, what's your number one guilty pleasure? Quick.
so actually,
Apparently, his number one guilty pleasure is making us all worried about what he's going to say next. But anyway,
no, this one's actually pretty serious for me. This is something that a lot of people don't do, and being local, it's given me the opportunity to do it with a lot more focus and intent than we used to. But we've always done this in the parks since probably 3 or 4 years into starting to go to Disney. We started to see some of the other side of it, and what I mean by that is we love to create memories for the CMs, the cast members themselves. And a lot of people go to Disney, and Natalie, I'm not calling you out, but I'm going to use a word you used. People go to Disney selfishly to enjoy themselves. They go to enjoy a vacation. They go to spend time with their family, and that's super important. But one of the things you learn, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, is after 4 p.m. at Walt Disney World on essentially any day of the year, about 80% of the staff working has worked there less than a year. The full-timers that have been there for a long time work the day shift. The night shift becomes college CPs, part-timers, people that haven't been there for a long time. That's a lot of pressure for a staff, and you see people get frustrated when rides go down. And how we started making memories with CMs was my daughter saw someone get treated very badly and was actually genuinely hurt and upset about it, and said, we need to find a way to make cast members feel better instead of worse. And people get frustrated. You spend a lot of money. If I drop 12 grand on a vacation and nothing works, I'm going to be frustrated too. But I also have learned through business and experience where to take out that frustration. And you don't take it out on the 18-year-old kid that's standing operating a ride telling you, I'm sorry, it's down right now. Well, why? Well, one, they're never going to give you the reason because they're trained not to. So making memories with cast members and taking the time to get to know them, stopping what I'm doing and talking to someone that works in the parks and legit talking to them, not a quick hi or a thank you, having a conversation. And it can happen in the most unique of situations, and you can create some of the most magical memories. So one of my guilty pleasures is taking time out of my day to spend with the cast member, getting to know them. And that's one of the joys I get the most out of the park. We've done thank you cards now in the park to staff since 2017. We've given out over 50,000 cards. And we've done it to the point where today my fiance and I celebrated our anniversary at Universal, and we gave everybody, when we walked over and met the Scooby-Doo crew. We gave everybody a thank you card, and we were the last group meeting with them. And they spent 10 minutes with us just talking about our dogs, our relationships, like how we met, because we met because of a roller coaster at a theme park. We got to share that story. When we went to ride Velocicoaster today, we handed out our thank you cards. Someone offered us a re-ride, put us in line, heard our story, and we started to talk to them about their story. Why'd they start working here? What have they liked most about it? You know, you get to know these people that work. And without the people that work there, Disney is an empty bunch of buildings. It's literally a place you'd walk into. And we forget how important that staff is to that place running well and efficiently. And if we don't take the time to say thank you once in a while or show some appreciation, I think we miss an opportunity personally. And I will tell you, the joy you get from that, like the joy Chuck gets from finding those hidden Mickeys, I get that by sharing those feelings with somebody that works there. I've heard cast members tell me, one cast member told me a story. When he was an infant, he died at Disney World on a family vacation. They were able to bring him back to life, the medical staff. As he grew up, he swore he would always go to work at Walt Disney World. And we met him, and he told us this story, and I get goosebumps still hearing it. But the people have a story of what brought them to Disney. And if you take the time to hear it, you start to understand why all of us crazy folks love to go back again and again and again. It's part of what makes that place so magical. So my guilty pleasure is literally getting to know the staff. I don't care about the rides. I don't care about doing a lot of the things that we do, but it doesn't make a difference to me. What makes the difference is that staff time where I get to hear people's stories about what brought them to their love for the theme parks in Disney World, much like mine. I think that's my guiltiest pleasure.
Well, and to that point, and we've said this again, this is episode 59, and I would dare say for probably a quarter of the shows that we have done thus far, we have said this, that the number one attraction at Walt Disney World are the cast members, because they are the individuals who make the magic happen. Yes, the attractions are awesome. Meeting the characters is awesome, but it's the people that work there who go each and every day, and the unsung heroes you talk about, you know, an attraction being down, and you know, folks, these attractions are going, you know, 365 days a year. Equipment doesn't work 365 days a year. It's going to have issues at times. And the unsung heroes, the maintenance staff, who you never really see them. They're all behind the scenes. You know, they come up and down through the utility doors. You never see them, but they're there, and they do this just Herculean task of keeping this particular. We're just talking about Walt Disney World. Not even thinking about all the other parks and the cruise ships and everything else. Just Walt Disney World. That's the size of San Francisco, and they keep that place running day in and day out.
Well, it's funny you say
Herculean task.
Yeah, Chuck, it's funny you say that, because we were looking up today, just finding some numbers of, you know, what is Universal's acreage as a resort versus what Disney's acreage is for Walt Disney World. Universal Orlando, with the addition of Epic, carries 1,291 acres of land that is being utilized by the theme park footprint. Now that includes City Walk, Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, and Epic Universe. Disney World had over 27,000 acres. It's almost 43 square miles. The town I live in is a very large town and spread out. and is only 19 square miles. You start to realize and put into perspective some of these things. The theme park and retail aspect, theme parks account for almost 196,000 personnel working in the greater Orlando area. You start to run into some of these numbers and it's astounding. And they're not appreciated. They're not in roles where they're thanked regularly. Some of the front-facing roles, they are. People are excited. They're on vacation. But how often do you take the time to thank the guy that's cleaning the bathrooms? I do every time. I actually awkwardly wind up talking to him in there. I wait till I'm done, people. But
I've done it too. I really have.
But-
And, not huge conversations, but just
No.
thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
No, exactly. And saying thank you makes a huge difference in those parks. And it is a huge thing. So I don't want to get too off because we're jumping on to other tangents as well. But I want to pull back. Mike and Priscilla brought up movies or shows. So I'm going to go around the horn to everybody and give me a movie or show that you would say is your kind of closet. You don't really want people to know that you love that one, but we're going to embarrass everybody right now. And that's okay. And maybe it's a movie or show that hit you emotionally. Maybe it really spoke to you. Maybe it's just a guilty pleasure because you're a little bit of a wackadoodle fan for heavyweights. But whatever it be, let's go. Meaghan, what do you got? Movie or show?
Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Okay.
It's a very old movie. Sean Connery's in it, so it has some redeeming. Very young Sean Connery. But I saw it for the first time around St. Patrick's Day in second grade. And in second grade, I fell in love with it. I thought it was a great movie. And ever since then, it's been my guilty pleasure. Like Mike, I don't watch it all that often, but I can't. Every once in a while, I get it in my head and I'm like, oh, I really need to watch that again.
So if you saw it on cable, you'd flip to the channel and sit and watch it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Fair enough. Matt, what do you got? Give me your guilty pleasure of Disney shows.
I honestly don't think I have one.
I'm thinking you like the Tinkerbell movies. Come on, admit it.
No, I've never seen. I don't watch a lot of movies, to be honest with you.
Frozen. He let it go.
Yeah, but everybody, it's not really a guilty pleasure. I even with little kids, and we're watching Mickey's Clubhouse and everything you see on regular TV. So I really can't think of anything
So Matt,
like that.
Answer this one honestly. Then, do you wish, as a parent, you had a MouseKast?
Okay, there's a family show, right? Okay, so I think I have a MouseKast in my fridge. Sam, Jack.
So you have an adult beverage collection for dealing with being a parent.
Well, that's the MouseKast.
Fair enough.
There's 4 or 5 options.
Okay, we can stop there. I think Matt wins the night. We just
he's got it. There we go.
Matt, you got us covered. All right, Mike. I know you said heavyweights, but give me another one that's a
okay. So if it's not going to be heavyweights, it's kind of a toss-up between Camp Rock and more current would be Bluey, because I've been a huge fan of Bluey for a couple of years now. I can't say I've seen every single episode, but I am obsessed with that show. I own the shirts. I'll watch it if it's on TV. I'll watch it on Disney Plus. I'm very excited. Bluey's coming to the parks. I'll be the first in line to meet her. I just can't get enough of that show. I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure. You kind of post about it a lot, but yeah, it's supposed to be a kid show, but to me, I don't feel like it's all that much of a kid show. But like,
You're a big kid now.
yeah, I'm a 37-year-old kid because
You're a,
like a
you're a Toys R Us kid, buddy. Like take the pride. You got it. No,
yep.
This is it. This is what we're talking about. The no shame. Let's be honest and open it up. Kudos to you, man. Good for Bluey. I can honestly say I've never seen Bluey or a Bluey show, and I'm not even familiar with.
I think you would like the humor. I really think you would like the humor in that show.
I might. We'll have to see. You I don't know. I may have to check it out. Chuck, what do you got?
Okay, so this should be no surprise to anybody because if you've paid attention at our game nights, this particular movie has come up a few times. Now, I know what you're thinking. Of course, it's The Lion King. No, I love The Lion King. My very favorite Battlestar Galactica. Listen to you. My very favorite Disney movie is The Lion King. But no, it is, of course, a space movie, and it is The Black Hole. I love The Black Hole. I don't know why I love The Black Hole, but I do. I love The Black Hole. It's just a fun film. It's the epitome for me of a guilty pleasure movie. It really is.
Okay, Annemarie, what do you got? What's yours?
It's not really one movie, but anything Marvel. It doesn't matter what it is. And it's because I know I called them leeches earlier, but I do love my boys because my boys love Marvel and we love going to in fact, we're going to Captain America on Thursday. I'm taking off. Well, my oldest is at college, but I'm taking my two and my husband. I guess that's the third leech right now. And we're seeing that. Well, I have to share popcorn with them. I know it sounds like I have an eating issue. I do not. But yes, it's anything Marvel. And I love I love like when we have a long weekend, getting with my when my oldest is here, my oldest and youngest will do this with me and we'll watch like 2 or 3 of them over a weekend and but anything Marvel related. I love it.
Okay, so I got a question for you just on the topic of that because I've done shows on Marvel on other podcasts I've been involved with, and one of the things we've talked about is how as Marvel progressed, they really hit a little bit of a wall, and there were a couple years there where they were hard pressed to come out with what I would consider a good movie. As a Marvel obsessive fan, do you feel the same theory, or do you just love them all based on the
Honestly, I really love them. I mean,
Okay.
some of the Thor movies, I can't remember which one it was, but it got poor reviews. And I thought it was funny.
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder.
Okay,
Was
yeah,
a
and
little
I thought it was funny. Like
we started in the theater.
Huh?
We saw it in the theater, and I was asleep in 30 minutes. And I love Thor. Like I was so excited to see that movie, and I was literally
With that man on screen, I cannot fall asleep. It doesn't matter.
Well, I guess I feel even better about the fact that I could.
How can you fall asleep with those damn goats?
I loved them. They were like the highlight. Them squawking and like,
Oh yes,
they
that
were awesome.
Yes.
And then
those goats are so annoying to me. I don't know why, but they just are.
Relationship that Thor was having with
Natalie Portman.
No, with the axe. With his because
Stormbreaker.
Oh yeah,
because he was having like that crisis.
He was cheating on Stormbreaker. Let's just call it for what it was.
And he was trying to get the hammer back, and it was like this. I thought that was hilarious. I couldn't.
So here's the funny thing about all this. Well, here's the funny thing about all this. So you go back to the original Thor film, the one directed by Kenneth Branagh, and how was Thor? Very formal, very Arthurian legend, way there. Chris Hemsworth slowly wanted to modify Thor, and by the time we got to Ragnarok, I want to say, and folks that are listening, you can look and verify this, somewhere around a quarter or more of the movie was totally ad-libbed because Chris Hemsworth wanted this to be a funnier, little more witty, more one-liner, and then you go to Love and Thunder, where I think it went a little off the rails and a little too far.
I agree
but it
with
was
that.
the same concept, though. It was, we're going to really kick up the humorous side of this and not so much get to the forsooth verily I say unto thee Thor, very Shakespearean style Thor. And I
It's
think a
funny
lot of that
'cause-
is Chris Hemsworth.
It's funny because Ragnarok was actually one of my favorites out of the
Yeah, I
whole
like that one.
out of the four. It was absolutely my favorite. I could watch that one on repeat consistently. And Love and Thunder, I mean, I can watch it, but it wasn't my favorite. But yeah,
All right.
Ragnarok was my absolute favorite.
So Priscilla, what is your?
So I have two, believe it or not.
Oh,
And one is not Disney, and but there is a connection to Disney, which is why I loved but I fell in love with this movie years before or right before I actually ever saw the connection to Disney. The first one is The Three Musketeers with Kiefer Sutherland, Chris O'Donnell, Charlie Sheen, and Oliver Platt. Love
That film.
Love that movie. I could watch it over and over. It's funny, it's adventurous. And it's funny because I love it wasn't a reboot, but it was the 2011 version that was completely redone with oh my god. I'm having a brain cramp. Luke Evans, James Corden, they were in it, but completely different type of story. But I do love the original Three Musketeers from '93, I think it was. But the second movie that I absolutely love, which is a hugely guilty pleasure because nobody knows it or has never seen it because it is that old. It's from 1933. It's Footlight Parade. It is absolutely one of my favorites. And the connection obviously is those of us who have been on the Great Movie Ride know that sequence when you first go through from the ending of the movie when they're doing the prologues at the very end. And James Cagney is mounted the production. It was the second prologue that he did where the girls are in the human water fountain. So I could watch that movie. It's a musical. It's all in black and white. It's a fantastic movie to me. And I appreciate what they were trying to do way back then, almost 100 years later. It's a great film.
Natalie, what about you?
So mine, I watch this quite frequently, but I have to say I don't get very far in it because for some reason it puts me to sleep. So it's actually Frozen 2.
Napping.
Already we have a ringing testament to this film here.
So your guilty pleasure is napping. This just facilitates that napping.
Yes, pretty much. Like
Excellent.
most nights, just to go to bed, I always put a movie on at Disney Plus, and there are two movies that I bounce back and forth with every single night. But my number one is Frozen 2. I love the movie, and I think it's a great movie. I enjoy it, and I can watch it all the way through. But when the mom starts to sing that lullaby at the very beginning, it just triggers me just to go straight to bed.
I will say I've never
There
seen
we go.
all of Frozen 2 because it's always put me to sleep too. But
It is a good film. It's worth watching.
Yeah, and what's weird is the other one that puts me straight to sleep is the first, and it's the Avengers. Don't ask me why, but by the time Loki makes his appearance, I'm out.
wow.
Wait,
Usually
but he
does
makes
some
his
weird
appearance,
things sometimes.
Like 5 minutes into the film.
Yeah, he's like 10 or 15 minutes into the movie
Yeah,
at
no,
most.
I cannot make it to the main sequence, like the main screen that says Avengers. Like after that,
you must be watching the melatonin version.
Yeah, really. She's got it on one half speed.
I think Natalie
Those
just made
two
herself some
movies
enemies
put me
tonight.
straight to bed, and I watch it. But I enjoy watching them all the way through. But I guess in my early 40s, it just puts me straight to sleep.
That's me with the last Star Wars movie, the Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
I literally put it on and it's within
Mhm.
15 minutes. And I love that movie, but 15 minutes in and I'm out.
All right, so here's our next podcast topic, folks. Top 10 movies that put you to sleep. So, Hawk, what is your guilty pleasure movie? And hopefully it doesn't put you to sleep.
So no, it doesn't put me to sleep, but I gotta tell you, the first time I saw it was the year it came out. And Chuck, I thought you were
no, dude, hold on.
No, it wasn't
the Ten Commandments didn't actually come out when the 10 Commandments actually came out. Okay.
You were correct. You were correct. But once I got the tablets, I realized I needed to go to the gym to be able to hold them up to read them. So I started working out, and my guilty pleasure is that I found Annemarie's ice cream and left the gym, and now I just sit home and do nothing. And I never read the commandments. Mine is The Lion King. And it's when you started to say that, Chuck, I was like, here he goes. He's going to take me out. But it really, truly is. I saw The Lion King the year it came out. I was in the military at the time, and a good buddy of mine and I went for an 11 a.m. showing, and we snuck off post and sat in there and watched the movie. And during the Mufasa scene, some absolutely wonderful 8 or 9-year-old girl was sitting next to us, and we were in our camos, and we were in there sitting, and both my boy Oren and I teared up. And this nice 8-year-old girl shouted very loudly through the whole theater, "Look, Mom, even the army guys are crying." And as we left the theater, about 150 military wives walked up and tapped us on the shoulder and said, "You guys going to be okay? Yeah, it's all right. You'll be good." And that was a movie I watched with my best friend. And he later had a heart attack at age 33 and passed away. And my guilty pleasure is every time I see that, I have to watch it. It doesn't matter when it comes on. I have to watch it. And every time it makes me tear up. I'm a big softie. And it's just one of those things that is, one of those movies that every time, doesn't matter the circumstance, I'll wind up singing the stupid songs around all day. It's all in my head. I love The Lion King. I love what it represents. I love the story, the way it was told from the start, but it also holds a special place in my heart from that memory. So that's a guilty pleasure for me. You'll never see me pass on The Lion King.
Yeah, you won't either, brother. Testify, because that's it can be a guilty pleasure for me, but I mean, for me, I don't see it as a guilty pleasure. It's just such an awesome film. It may be the Disney movie that epitomizes the relationship of a father and a son. And being a father to 2 boys and a daughter, but a father to 2 boys in this particular instance, it is a movie that has resonated with me. When it first came out and I first got it on, I've told this story before in a previous show, when I first got it on VHS. Yes, that's how old I am. When it premiered on VHS, I still have it too. I watched it 3 times in a row, literally. Stop, rewind, watch it again. Stop, rewind, watch it again, because it was The Lion King, and I was right there with you at the end of the movie. I saw it in the theaters, and tears streaming down my face, because it's such a powerful film. It's and to this day, it's still a very moving film.
And I think a lot of people do forget in watching movies that the connection you make to movies isn't always about even the story that's told, but yet how it affects you, how you relate to it within your own family or your own situation. Things can really emotionally hit people. And that goes back to, recognizing and taking the time to get to know others and why they find things emotional, why they connect. Those reasons are important. And, that is part of each of our stories. And that's something Disney always did very well. He told stories. And he was the master. And, that's part of where our passion lies, because we enjoy the storytelling, that aspect. Meaghan, you were going to add something, I think, on that.
I was just going to say we should do an episode where we talk about the movies that kind of like hit us the hardest because
the movies that move us the most. Yeah.
Lion King is one that I almost like, I can't watch because I just sob. The second that they start heading down the ravine, I'm done. Oh man, the Lion King kills me.
Oh, I know that. I mean, it's the scene that I dread the most, but you push through it because I know what will happen in the end. But here's the other thing that we want to know: what are your guilty pleasures? Comment on our Facebook page or on our YouTube page, and tell us what your guilty pleasures are. It could be movies, it could be in the parks, it could be just generally theme park related, or something in Orlando or Florida or anywhere that might be related to Disney and or the theme parks. We want to hear what you think, and also what do you think about some of our guilty pleasures that we shared on this particular episode? Do you have them as well? Do you follow along as well? We want to say a huge thank you to Natalie, to Priscilla, to Annemarie, Mike, Matt, Natalie, and Meaghan, and of course Hawk for joining us tonight. We shared our guilty pleasures, and we hope that maybe this gets you thinking a little bit about some of your guilty pleasures and maybe kind of coming along. Personally, I'd like a little more spam hash. Matt, have you got any more that you could share for us tonight? I'm thinking I want some spam hash now. So you have been listening to MouseKast. This is the podcast where the mind meets the magic. And so until next time, we'll see you.